Welcome to the finnCap Tech demo for Tremor International. I'll hand you over to Michael Hill.
Great, thank you very much, Andy. And good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for joining us for Tremor's virtual tech demo. I'm delighted to say that presenting to you today will be Ofer Druker, CEO of Tremor, Karim Reyes, Chief Product Officer, and Stephanie Bercaw, Sales Engineer. We'll follow the same format as normal for our demos, with Ofer providing a short introduction to Tremor before handing over to Karim and Stephanie to show you just some of what Tremor's platform can do. We'll aim for that to take around 40 minutes, which will then leave around 20 minutes for Q&A, and you can submit questions through the chat functionality or by emailing us. And we would ask as well that you don't ask any questions on the financials, as Tremor won't be providing any new guidance here after last week's trading update. So with that, I will hand over to you, Ofer.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Karim, can you share the first slide? Thank you. So I will make a very quick introduction. I will not steal the time from the tech demo because you heard about us a lot. And I just wanted to put emphasis on what Tremor is all about. So Tremor is a global leader in digital video. Video is the most engaged format today in online advertising in so many ways. And basically what we do, we enable advertisers to reach their right audience on the right time with the right message, and basically showing them the right video according to audiences that the advertisers basically choose. We think that there is a huge opportunity in this field because the market is growing in all aspects. Video is the most growing format the last few years and will keep doing that. And our company has three basically emphasizes and focuses in the last 2 or 3 years. The first one is video, as I just said. 85% of our revenues are generated from video advertising, which is a very big number according to the industry, if you compare it to other companies in the industry, which are our peers. The second thing is that we are using data, unique data segments through our DMP. So we have also the data management platform in our tech stack. And the last point is about CTV. CTV got acceleration during this pandemic, and it's becoming like a major force where people are spending most of their time today. And we are strongly emphasizing our activity around CTV. We started doing that after the acquisition of Freedom One in April 2019, and this is one of our KPIs. In the third quarter, already 25% of the revenues of our company came from CTV, and the same in the fourth quarter. In general, on our media, we have about 3,000 publishers around the globe, and our reach, according to Comscore, is about 250 million unique users in the US, 300 million users around Europe, and about 400 million around Asia. And I will hand over now the discussion and the presentation to the tech team.
Karim, I think you're on mute.
Thank you, Ofer. Yes, I was muted. Apologies. All right, so I will start with, before we jump into the platform demos, I will start with a brief overview to give context to everyone on what we're going to be seeing today. So first of all, at Tremor International, we operate an end-to-end technology stack, programmatic stack, that is comprised of 3 main products. So first off, we have the Tremor demand-side platform. And that platform enables self-service advertisers to set up and manage their campaigns, leveraging our unique publisher partnerships and data partnerships. Then we have the exchange/supply-side platform, which is branded under the Unruly brand. This is the platform that connects all of our publisher partners to the system. So publishers benefit from both the strong demand driven by our Tremor demand side platform, as well as get self-service access to set up their own sales and campaigns against their advertisers. And finally, as Ofer mentioned, we have our data management platform that sits at the center of the stack that powers both the demand side platform and supply side platform. So we can layer unique data segments and layer unique audiences against campaigns running on both the demand side platform and supply side platform. One thing that's important to note here, while we can operate end-to-end programmatic transactions all the way from the users to the advertisers connecting customers visiting our publisher's site directly to brands, we also enable our advertisers to connect to other platforms, to other supply-side platform, and enable our publishers to connect to other demand-side platform as well. So we're not a closed system, similar to Facebook's and so on. We operate an open marketplace, which gives the benefit of our partners from both our own internal demand as well as external from other systems. So again, we operate that unified end-to-end programmatic platform. There are main advantages of doing that. Some of our competitors will only focus on managing either a supply-side platform or demand-side platform. We made the bet a few years ago to go end-to-end, and there are unique advantages to that. First off, buyer's choice. So we don't force advertisers into a specific type of transaction. They have full choice on how to transact with us, whether they choose to use our demand-side platform to run their campaigns on their own through our self-service system, leverage our operations team to run through managed service on our demand-side platform, or even if they're looking to run the campaigns through a third party like a Trade Desk or a Google, we can enable those transactions through our supply-side platform through private marketplace deals, and we'll get into that a bit later today. Second, we have unified audiences across our entire system. So when two independent platforms are transacting, they need to do what we call cookie syncing. So basically sync their users together. No two platforms see the same users, so there's always losses there. Add to that privacy concerns, etc. There's a lot of regulations around cookie syncing today. When it comes to operating an end-to-end stack, both the audiences on the supply side platform and demand side platform are the same. So we have a unified system with a unique with a single audience data set. So that implies no losses between the platforms. So our transactions are more scalable and remove some of those privacy concerns. Finally, there's media quality for advertisers. So as a demand side platform, we have the benefit of having direct publisher partnerships, which gives us better control over scale, pricing, and mainly quality control. So working directly with these publishers, we can manage all of those facets and help our buyers get the best quality inventory possible. So for today's demo, we're gonna be looking at three main UIs in our system. We'll start with the self-service demand side platform. Again, this is the platform an advertiser would use to log in, set up, manage their advertising campaign, leveraging our premium media and data partnerships. From there, we'll jump into our exchange dashboard. This is really the heart of our system. This is where our operational team manage all our system configuration. So we set up all buyers, sellers, and all individual configurations there. Every partner connected is configured differently and has custom configurations. This is also where we set up our private marketplace deals to transact with other platforms. Finally, we'll finish with our publisher dashboard. This is the self-service publisher portal, enabling publishers to integrate with our system, pull reporting and insights on their performance, as well as set up private marketplace deals with their direct sold buyers. So if you're thinking about a premium publishers, let's take a News UK, they have their own sales team as well. So they will be using the system to essentially create campaigns and transact with their buyers. So before I pass it on to Stephanie for the demand side platform slide, quick overview of what we'll see today. So we'll start with the homepage dashboard. So this is a welcome screen that greets users as they log in. They get an overview of their campaign performance, quick snapshot of what's going on in the system for them. We'll walk you guys through a full campaign setup example, showing you how we set up campaigns and give you an overview of the quick and bulk editing features that we've released this year to help ease the integration and speed up the process for our buyers. And then we'll show you some examples of audience targeting available in our system, including unique segments that we have around TV retargeting, which is a big focus of ours. So without further ado, let me pass it on to Stephanie that will kick it off with the demand-side platform demo.
Hi, thank you. So this is the platform, so jumping in, this is a platform that our teams use to connect advertisers' video messages to their desired audiences. This includes our managed service business, but today I'm going to take you through here the self-service application. At the end of the day, our partners are looking to us for premium, scalable supply and data, meaningful creative execution, and a partner they can rely on. Tremor Video, our demand-side platform here, helps them achieve that efficiently, effectively, providing them with all the tools that they would need to execute a campaign. So diving in here, let's start with the hierarchy of the system, how it's designed. The highest level, we have agency. You would set up your advertisers underneath that. You can set up brands. So for, think an autos manufacturer, they would have cars, SUVs, sedans, and certainly they would buy different campaigns or buys for trucks than they would for a car or an SUV. So that's the brand. And then campaign and placement and creative, where campaign and placement is really where we set a number of the targeting tactics and settings to find our desired audience. So now that we have a view of how the system is designed, want to jump here into the home page. So the home page is where our customers come to start their day. They are able to see what they're buying, how things are performing. High level, they can pin their campaigns. So if there are certain ones that are more important, they can pin and see just their campaigns. So here we see spend over time. We also are able to see impressions, which is how many times were my videos viewed. And then also with eCPM, the pricing. How much did it cost for me to buy 1,000 impressions? So that's the homepage overview. What I'd like to do now is set up a campaign with you. So I'm actually going to navigate over here to our demo seat and start setting up a campaign. As we go through that, a couple things you might notice, aside from being a single page design, very clean. Let me add my advertiser here. Let's do Land Rover CTV demo sample campaign. A lot of folks turn to us to solve for their CTV needs. But you'll see here single page design. I'm going to input a budget here. Okay. From here, we do have this idea of campaign inheritance. Campaign inheritance is our first line of defense in terms of bulk editing, kind of umbrella settings for our campaign. So we mentioned this would be a CTV campaign. Everything we run is going to be CTV. So I'm going to go ahead and add screen here at the campaign level. So as I launch my individual tactics, I don't have to set that up every time. So we're going to add a couple settings here. Let's do a goal setting for CTV completion rate. This is saying how many times my video was completed. We also offer a number of other metrics. If folks are looking to drive to the site, for instance, they might want to look towards a click-through rate goal. But we offer whatever KPIs and goals there that folks need. I'm going to add a couple other settings here. And then I do want to pull up our inventory and bidding methodology. So this is where clients can come in and define what types of supply am I looking for, what publishers, what am I willing to pay, right? Giving them the tools they need to manage their buys and define what they want. So we have our bidding. This section is to say, I only want to run on certain sites, or maybe I don't want to run on these sites or these apps. And then we also offer a couple ways to buy. So buying on the open auction, this is where all advertisers and all publishers can connect and bid in real time. We also offer the ability to plug into private marketplace deals, which function in a very similar fashion. but it can be more restricted to say only a subset of advertisers are able to buy these specific publishers. It can still be bidded, or it can be a negotiated rate. Being a CTV campaign here, I would say let's select our SSP with Unruly. We have a ton of CTV quality premium supply, so we can do that here. But you can see we also offer connections to a number of other SSPs. We also may want to come and tap into a couple of those private marketplace deals where maybe we have some fixed rates negotiated. Folks can come and tap into publisher direct inventory if they would like. But this is where they can really define what types of inventory, what types of publishers and supply do I want to buy. I'm going to add just a couple more settings here at the campaign level. I think geo-targeting is a very common one. So if we could do, let me see here. I'm going to do a US target for this one. And I think we hit the major ones here. So I'm going to go ahead and save our campaign and move on into a placement setup. So once we have the campaign defined, when we talk about placements, we're really saying what types of tactics, what types of audiences am I looking to find in order to achieve my desired audience. In this case of a Land Rover CTV campaign, perhaps it's finding folks who are in market for vehicles, or somebody who has potentially seen my TV commercial or seen a competitor TV commercial, and I'm trying to stay top of mind. So a brand awareness play. So let's do the latter right now. Let's do TV retargeting and set up a campaign or a placement here. Give it a budget. So we're saying, how much do I want to spend against a TV target? I give it start dates and end dates, right? I'm going to launch tomorrow and I want to run through the end of the year. What I'll show here is we talked about campaign inheritance. I did much of the heavy lifting. I already set up most of what I need. I really just need to add in what my targeting is. So I'm going to jump here to TV targeting. And as you can see with that single page design, where you have the ability to add in what's important to you. You don't have to see everything. So we're adding at this point, TV retargeting. And TV retargeting, what this is a solution that allows advertisers a bridge from what a consumer viewed on their television set to this digital space where now we can segment and target users based on that content they've consumed on TV. So this can be a very powerful data set. This is unique to Tremor. We offer a couple off the shelf. So with special events and tentpole events, this could be, I want to target people who have watched the World Cup. I want to target folks who have tuned into the Olympics. Sports, movies, TV shows, these are genres of movies and TV shows. So for Land Rover, if I have a message that resonates with, let's get out and travel. I may want to target folks who tune into travel shows. That might be an intended target. Or if I have more of a lifestyle type play where maybe I'm targeting family, lots of room in my vehicle, family friendly message, I might want to target folks tuning into family TV shows. Some other segmentations we offer are networks, advertising, brand categories. This is another interesting one here. So if I may want to target folks who are exposed to a lot of SUV commercials or luxury vehicles for this, to make sure that my brand stays top of mind in that very convoluted space. So lots of options here for the TV retargeting. I think we added a couple really great ones. The last section we might want to consider are some custom segmentations, where with the custom segmentations for TV targeting, we can find users who have seen a certain brand. So I may want to use, let's do Land Rover. So anyone who has seen my commercial, I can build a segment here, target this segment. Another application is to exclude this, to say, I want to use my digital footprint to find anyone who maybe didn't see my TV spot. So this can be a unique reach play. You can also come in here, target competitive brands. We could put in Mercedes, right? Lots of options. So this is our TV retargeting section. I'm going to go ahead and save this placement. I think we have a good setup here to say, I'm looking for that brand recall against folks who have maybe seen some TV. And the other section I think we might want to jump into here is with our audience targeting. So with audience targeting, we're seeking to identify users, and this is a really, really big one, another big use for us. So let's do audience, auto intenders, maybe. Land Rover. Again, we give it a budget, nothing out of the ordinary here. We said start date, end date. We're going to run through the end of the year. We did the heavy lifting here. I'm going to go ahead and add setting for audience. So with audience targeting, we're really seeking to identify users based on different characteristics, whether this means what they did online, their behaviors there, demographics, interests, intent. There's lots of different ways that we can plug in data. Our data management platform is plugged in with all the major third-party data sources. So when it comes to data, if it's out there, we can target it here. With this, let's do auto intender. I'm going to pull up a couple examples and add them in. For our CTV campaign, auto intenders might be a great one. We could also do brand loyalists. So let's say anyone who already has a Land Rover, maybe they're looking for an upgrade, maybe it's been 5-10 years, time for a new car. So we can add lots of different segments in here. We also have the ability, so while we're plugged in with all this third-party data, because of our integrations, we also have the ability to pull in first-party data. So if clients, in this case Land Rover, has information on their customer base, they can plug in their data here, say folks who are coming into their service department, people who have called in and quoted a car. They can use that data here online to build and find campaigns to target for their video messages. I'm going to go ahead and save this. I think this is a pretty good base of a campaign. I'd like to show just a couple more tools with our bulk editing and our quick editing. I'll call out, let's use the audience target. Let's say this is a really great use case for some of our teams who buy more localized. So let's say we have autos is a great example. We have Northeast, Southeast, Northwest, Southwest, and we have different budgets for each of those regions. Instead of having to set that up 4 different times, I set it up once. I can come in here, create it, rename my Northwest, Southwest, right? Rename these. Mess with my geo-targeting a little bit, make sure that that's in line, and go ahead and save. And I instantly have this, this new campaign set up for geo. I can easily come in with our quick edit features and come change the budgets here. So maybe Northwest gets a little more. Well, Northwest, let's make that 25,000, right? So lots of tools. We've gotten really, really good feedback on some of these tools in terms of the time that it takes to build a campaign. So these have gone over really well. And then in the interest of time, I think that would be it from a campaign setup. So this would really conclude our DSP, demand side platform. I'll pass it over from here to Karim to take us through the supply side platforms.
Thank you, Stephanie. Sorry, I'm just trying to start my video here. This was locked out. 1 second, guys. So just to add, before we jump into the next dashboard here, so those quick and bulk-headed features we've seen, those we've added in the past year, and really drastically increased the speed at which operation teams from agencies can come in and set up campaigns. As we all know, budgets have been constrained to a lot of these agencies. Staffing has been shortened. So anything we can do to help them, ease their workload is greatly appreciated. And that, as Stephanie said, it got us great feedback and good commercial traction as well. So jumping in here, we'll move to the exchange side of the platform, so the supply side of the platform. What I'm showing you guys here is an internal tool. It's called our Exchange Dashboard. And this is essentially where our operations team come in and configure our system. So as you log in, you're greeted to a system giving you a screen giving you an overview of the entire system. So starting with key metrics such as gross revenue, fairly self-explanatory, revenue generated so far today in comparison to yesterday. So these are real-time charts. Impressions, that's essentially number of times advertisements were shown on our client screens. So this is a count of total advertisement. Total requests. Request is every time a publisher pings our system to ask for an advertisement. So this is basically, please send me an advertisement. I have an open slot on my site. Just to give you guys an idea of scale here, we see around 2 million requests every second. So there's a huge amount of scale coming into the system. So one of the primary goal of the system is to be able to sustain such scale and do that at great speed. Everything is done in real time here. It's all real time bidding. So scale and speed is extremely important. So people log in. First, you get your overview of the dashboard. It gives you an overview of how's everything doing, etc. From there, you can go and dig into specific stats by buyer and seller to see how each individual partner is performing. I'm just going to give a quick glance here, showing you SSP stats. So those are supply side platforms, starts with our own. So basic metrics here as well covered. So revenue, CPM, that is price of the inventory. So we can see how price is evolving every hour. Requests, so that's the volume of inventory coming into the system. Bids, that's the number of time a buyer is tried to acquire a specific impression. So this is an auction-based system. So not every time that you'll bid for a request that you will win. It will depend if other competitive buyers are bidding more than you. So it's all price-based. And then impression pixel, that's the number of adverts that were actually shown. So we have this broken down for every supply side platform, same for every demand side platform. I'll skim through this quickly, but there are many, many options here. Next up, we have latency charts. So this is really for us to track system performance. So this is, as we mentioned, we're seeing a ton of scale, 2 million requests a second. So this is by buying partner, the speed at which the transactions are running. So we can see a chart here of, this is in milliseconds to give you the guys the idea of speed. So 0 to 9 milliseconds, how quickly we're able to operate a transaction, all the way up to over 150 milliseconds. Our goal is to run as quickly as possible with every partner. We're dependent on the demand side partners as well. As you can see here, some will be faster than others. And I won't go through reporting, but we have detailed reporting showing basically enabling users to pivot against any metrics. So how much revenue do we have against CTV for a particular buyer, seller, etc. So really being able to dig deep and look into the data. But what I want to focus on today is the deal marketplace. So I actually have one, sorry. So I have one open here already. This is, so we've seen an example with Land Rover. Stephanie went in and selected a couple of private marketplace deals available to that buyer. Private marketplace deals are enabled from supply side platforms. So these are inventory packages put together for a buyer. So we have an example here. These deals are packaged and sold, so they can either target Tremor, so deals that we will push to our own DSP, or be targeted towards third-party demand-side platform as well. So if Land Rover, for example, was running a campaign on Trade Desk and wanted to tap into our inventory, we can still enable a sale against that and package our inventory and let them buy our inventory through Trade Desk. So in this example, we'll give a deal a name, some internal metrics here around who the seller was against this deal, etc. Then we jump into deal targets. So this starts with the basics. So revenue targets, what are we looking to spend every day, etc. Where it gets interesting is around performance targets. So here we have two key ones. First off is viewability targets. So a viewable ad is essentially an ad that will be in view as the user is watching. So let's take an example. You're on a website and a video advert loads at the bottom of the site while you're still on top. So the video started playing, but it's not in view on your screen. That would not count as a viewable impression. So here we can set a target. So this is set at 60%. That means that at least 60% of the advertisement that will be shown will be in view of the user. So these are minimum metrics that you set. Our system will automatically take care of meeting those metrics through machine learning models that we have. So we have by no means have to do any manual targeting, any site targeting, etc. This is all done through the system. It's looking at multiple metrics to come up with those decisions. So just think of a site. Let's say you're loading that site on a desktop screen, which is a lot larger. A video might be in view there, but if you're loading the same site on your mobile device, the video could be under the fold, could be not in view. So even on the same site, you would see different performance depending on the screens you're using. So that's one of the metrics that will come in the system. The sites themselves, obviously, each site performs differently. Specific user data as well coming in here and helping inform the algorithm on on predicting what will be viewable or not. So basically our operation team set and forget this setting. You set it once, the system will take care of meeting those goals. So extremely easy and very easy for us to drive a good return on investment to buyers through these settings. Then we have video completion rate targeting. So Stephanie covered that already. So this is basically my advertisement played in full, right? So if you think again, you're on a website, an ad is playing, then you close that website, you move to another website while the ad was still playing. That is not a completed view. So here the goal again is set up at 60%. So 60% of the ads that start will finish. And again, done through predictive modeling. So we'll automate all of that to reach those goals. So these are features that our teams lean on heavily. I would say 99% of campaigns we run will have goals like that set. Regardless if the advertisers ask for them or not, we want to make sure we drive the best quality inventory to our buyers. From there, standard settings, so delivery date ranges. So what is the flight for the campaign? When does it start? When does it end? And then you have your buyer side settings. So on what platform, in this case, we picked Centro, but you can pick any demand side platform here. So from Tremor to Trade Desk, etc. So this is what platform this deal will run against. So the system will take care of only sending that deal to that platform. We can go down to the seat as well. What the seat is an advertiser that licenses a platform. So let's say one of the agencies licensed to Tremor, they're getting a unique seat ID under Tremor. So we can target that ID. So only the ID within that platform will see that deal flow through. Then it's pricing. We can set price floor. So price floor are the minimum bids you need to bid on this inventory in order to buy it. And from there, we move to supply targeting. So this is, so let's take the use case we had earlier. We'll target only connected television here. So this will only send connected television inventory to the buyer and exclude everything else. So mobile, app, desktop inventory will be excluded. Geo-targeting, same use case here. You can go to the country, the region as well, all the way down to metro area. So in this case, you target a city, etc. You can go target down to a zip code as well. This will filter users, audiences based on those criteria. So what we can see here, we have a data feed tied to this deal. This is because we're layering data on this deal. This is fairly unique. Most data management platforms are either independent or operated by demand side platforms. So while it's fairly common to see a demand side platform connected to a data management platform, it's less common to see supply side platform operate a data management platform. So this gives us the unique ability to layer audiences on deals, on private marketplace deals as well. So we can jump in and look into that. So let's take our example of Land Rover from earlier. So, Stephanie used the angle of let me target TV spots that played on the TV and do strategies around that. Here we're going to take a bit of a different strategy and targeting against demographics. So let's take an example here. We're running a Land Rover campaign. So let me target households that have a net income of over $250,000, as they're more likely to buy these type of vehicles, or users that are targeting luxury shopping, that are interested in luxury shopping, etc. So we have all of the audiences that we saw on the DSP are available on the SSP as well and targetable here. Once we select the audience blocks that we wish to target, we can set rules against them. So these are basically logic statements, ands or ors. So for example, I could say I want to target users that have a household income of 250,000 and are interested in luxury shopping, or I can do an or where I'm going to target either users that are in this income bracket or users interested in luxury shopping. So these are all settings available. You can create your own logical statements and package them together. So there are big advantages to layering in data on the supply side. Starting with, if you think about privacy, in most transactions today, since the data is targeted on the buy side only, and the users really visit publisher sites, so the user data is on the publisher side. The publisher platforms need to pass this data to the demand side platform for the targeting. So what that means is basically user syncing, which we talked about earlier, causes some losses, but as well as privacy restrictions grow and grow, we're seeing those transactions becoming harder and harder. So here, what you can do when you're actually layering an audience from the supply side, what you're doing is essentially only sending qualified customers to your buyer without having to share this customer data with your buyer. So if we look forward 1-2 years from now, we definitely think this is the future, as restrictions will grow around privacy. To be able to just layer on qualified user without sharing their personal data is key. The other advantage here is when you're transacting with a buyer, if the supply side platform is only packaging what we saw here around the sites that they'll target, etc., you don't have a good idea of how many of the requests you're sending to the buyer are actually qualified buyers of the product. You're basically randomly sending these requests and relying on the buyer to layer on their targeting criteria. So that makes the transaction not efficient. Most of the requests you'll be sending through will not be qualified. So impossible in pre-sale to predict volume, pricing, etc. The ability to layer all that on the supply side here gives us all of those controls. So we're able to accurately forecast for our buyers how much volume they're going to see from us, what the price will be, what sites they will see, what performance they can expect. So this is extremely key on winning business, and it's a big part of our process pre-sale as we're negotiating deals with brands and agencies. So moving on here, I'll jump into a quick view here of our publisher platform. So everything we just saw was our internal tool. So this is our sales team going out and selling a private marketplace deal to an agency. What we're seeing more and more in the industry is buyers and sellers transacting directly together without the need of an intermediary. So this is enabled to our platform on both sides. So we just saw the self-serve demand side platform that enables buyers to come in and set up their own campaigns and run their own activity without basically the help of Tremor or any operational team. Same goes on here on the supply side platform. So think of a major publisher. Let's take a News Corp, a News UK website. They have their own sales team and they're looking to basically run a direct campaign with Land Rover. Land Rover is looking to buy into News UK. So this would be enabled through this dashboard. So publishers can come in. So the dashboard, basically, main thing it covers, first of all, it's integration to our platform. So first thing they need to do is actually integrate with our platform so that their site is connected to the platform to enable transactions. So this is done through here, all their account setup, billing, etc., the standard stuff. Reporting, just showing them, performance, etc., of both the demand driven by Tremor as well as their direct deals. But what I want to focus on here is the deal marketplace itself. So very similar to what we just saw on the Exchange dashboard. This is the platform used by direct publishers to create private marketplace deals. So this is done in a two-step process. And the goal of that is ease of use. So first off, they'll create an inventory package. So this is essentially what inventory they want to package together for my buyer to buy. So give this inventory a name. So let's call it Land Rover Q4. You link this to a placement. This is the connection you have to our system. And then you have all your inventory set up. So similar to earlier, we're targeting connected television here. So we'll only filter by our connected television. We're looking for video advertising. You can set up your countries, metro area, the same way as we saw on the other platforms. So filter audiences based on just that location. And then the same tools we saw, and this is pretty unique to our system, the same tools you saw on our managed platform are available to publishers as well. So if they want to filter based on advertiser goals, so let's use viewability here like we did earlier. So again, that's an ad that is in view on the screen. They can filter by that percentage. Because we don't do it, most platforms basically target viewability based on the sites. So they look at overall sites and say, okay, News UK has a viewability of 50%, 60%, etc. This can be part of my campaign. So they'll go through a site list and basically target that way. So that, of course, does not work at the publisher level because the publisher is one site. So if I wanted to, let's say a publisher has a viewability overall score of 50%, and they want to sell a campaign against 60%, in those systems that wouldn't be possible. Here it's possible because we go down to the user level. So we're able to predict within their overall inventory, the part of the inventory that will reach a 60% goal. So they can set this here, go ahead and create a package. So this is their overall setting. The goal of setting up a package first is that it can be used for multiple deals after. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel and do this every time. So you do this once, you create your package, and after that you go ahead and go in deal management. And you can create a deal, which is where you're targeting your buyer. So this is, first step you'll do is you select your package. So I just created my Land Rover package. From there, you give this a deal name. So let's stick to Land Rover Q4 here. Your date range for the campaign flight itself. And similar to what we saw on the other platform, where is my buyer buying? So, Stephanie targeted Land Rover earlier. So here we're going to select Tremor. So this is our DSP. So in that case, the buyer would have that deal available in the DSP itself. So as Stephanie selected the deals, it would be available on that platform, selected through here. So you set your volume limits, etc. Create your deal. This will give you an ID that you give to your buyer, and you're done essentially. You've enabled that transaction. So that's the quick overview of the dashboard. So again, three key platform we saw today: demand side platform where advertisers come in and on a self-service basis can set up campaigns; supply side platform, broader operational platform for all of our internal management and enable our own sales effort to our own deals; and then self-service for publishers. So full versatility to the platform where buyers and sellers can transact and use us really as a technology solution, or if they wish to be enabled through our team, take advantage of the demand that we sell, that we bring to the table, they can do that as well to our managed service. And that's what we have for you guys today as far as demo goes. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Karim. And that's been a great insight into what the Tremor platform can do. So we will now move on to Q&A. And as a reminder, if you have any questions, then please use the Q&A functionality within Zoom. And the first question that we have is, you've talked a lot about how private marketplaces packages are working. Could you just give us an overview of some of the benefits for advertisers and publishers of using them?
Yeah, I can take that. So, we just went through a private marketplace setup. What you saw here is all of the settings that we can layer on top of the transaction. So if someone is buying us from the open market, they're essentially targeting media, but don't take advantage of any of the layers we can add on top of the media. So an example of that, we looked at performance filtering. So talking about minimum viewability threshold, completion rate thresholds. We talked about audience targeting, so layering audiences on top of that media. This is all done through private marketplace deals. So we're adding value to the inventory through the private marketplace and basically understanding. So this is, think of it as customer service for the buyer. So we're basically working with them, understanding what their end goal is and helping them achieve that goal through that filtering and that targeting. So really that's where private marketplace deals come in. So we see buyers both run against private marketplace and open on our system. So they can just come in and buy our inventory if they don't need that extra layer of service. But when they do, they go through private marketplace. I can say that we've seen a huge growth in that methodology of trading, especially when it comes to connected television. But yeah, that's the main benefit.
Brilliant, thank you. And then I've also had a question come in that asks, how does your DSP and SSP compare with best of breed competitors? For example, how does it compare with Pubmatic, which went public today?
So Pubmatic, so first of all, when we're talking about Tremor International, we're talking about an SSP and a DSP. So it's both platform, where a Pubmatic is only an SSP. So when we're talking about the transaction that they can enable private marketplace deals with their buyers that would have to buy through another DSP, whether that's a Tremor or a Trade Desk, etc. They don't enable buyers to buy through their platform. And from there, so basically you're restricting your buyers to those solutions only. So for us, we look at it in two ways. So, and I'll get into the SSP specifically, but we looked at it like our offering is end to end. So we bring, so when publishers, so if I'm talking to a publisher and why us versus a Pubmatic, well, first of all, the breadth of demand that we're able to drive to our publishing partner is a lot larger, given that we also have the demand side platform driving revenue towards those publishers. So we have unique demand control through that platform that benefit our publishers. Second, I'd say our main focus on the supply side platform, similar to demand side platform, has been around video. Historically, Pubmatic was display first. So just using that example, but many of the supply side platforms out there have built a large business around display and now got into video a lot later than us. So we've been able to build a large footprint around connected television, and it's really where we lead from. So connected television and digital video in general. So we have a lot of partnerships and scale against those partnerships on those mediums.
Excellent, thank you. And then we also had a question that relates to how you're differentiated. So what kind of impact does it have for advertisers and publishers that you have exclusive data from Alfonso, and then also having the exclusive relationship with News Corp as well? What impact does that have with advertisers as you speak to them?
Ofer, you want to take this, or should I?
You can start, and I will pick up after.
Sure. So, we looked into the TV retargeting partnerships. So this is, if you think about TV dollars moving to digital and the impact of that, it's a huge growing market. So having access to that TV data in our platform, being able to enable that on digital, is a huge differentiator for us and a large driver of revenue. So that Alfonso partnership has helped us build a large business around that. Also, that deep relationship gave us a deep integration within our platform. So Stephanie walked us through all the examples here of segments available to our platform. So we have a lot of unique segments available to our buyers, but we can go a level deeper there as well and can go fully custom around segments, working with Alfonso to package buyer-specific segments. If they're not available through the UI, we can go a layer deeper and really set those custom segments for our buyers. So a lot of so that data differentiation has been a huge driver for us. And again, like the TV to digital story, reach extension, etc., resonates really well in market.
I just want to add to that we have several audiences, unique audiences agreement with companies that we created. And it's not just one, and it's a mix of a few. And also on the CTV element, we see that it's growing by itself. Even, you know, when we look at that from the side, there is other elements of data that are being needed, not just TV retargeting, that basically advertisers are looking for, like behavioral and demographic and geographic and so on, in order to run their campaigns. And it's achieving really great results. That's why also this segment is growing so fast also on our media. And on that case, when you look at the numbers that we just announced last week, you see a huge growth in the numbers of CTV, which are in line with the leaders of this industry also in the US. And by the way, regarding the question before on Pubmatic, just to mention one thing, as I mentioned in the beginning, in our revenues, about 85% of the revenues is around video, which is much more lucrative, and the pricing on video are 4 to 5 times more than display. That's one. The second thing is the relationship with the agencies and the direct advertisers. That's our bread and butter, and most of the SSPs doesn't have these capabilities, and they don't have this access to these revenue sources like us, which, by the way, that means a lot because we are in front of these top advertisers and agencies, and we have more than 500 advertisers basically working with us just in the US. So that's about the data and about Pubmatic.
Brilliant, thank you. And then if we look at a slightly different area, so on the privacy side of things, I think people have seen, looking at the questions, quite a few press stories recently about changes to IDFA from Apple, and then also phasing out of cookies by Google too. So what impact could that have on Tremor, and how are you positioned as you look forward in the next few years on a privacy point of view?
So Karim, maybe I will start and then you will get into the technical stuff. But when we are looking at our, first of all, we have a very big advantage when we are working on both sides. So we need less like cookie syncing and stuff like that when we are running a campaigns, because we are sitting on the DSP and the SSP. The second element, when you're talking about Google cookie, it's less relevant to what we called the CTV area, because you don't have cookies on CTV and you don't have cookies on apps, on mobile apps, and these are the major sources for our revenues. The display is going relatively down and down all the time, so the display in the desktop. So the effect from that will be, as we calculated in about 1.5 years when it's supposed to start, will be relatively very low. Also, we are sure that the industry will find ways to bypass this issue from tracking just around cookies, but cookies itself, the influence on us is very limited. About Apple, again, the same issue. It will affect all the industry, but since we have both sides, it will affect us less than most of the others, and most of our revenues are not based on performance elements. It's present on branding elements, and we have tools to basically offer very good capabilities around this issue. Karim, you want to add to that?
Yeah, just to add to that, if I'm being truthful, honestly, I think this would actually help us in market as these changes come. So first off, we talked about targeting from the supply side, the ability to layer audiences on the media. And one of the main benefit of that was basically removing that need of user syncing between the platform, removing that need of privacy data shared through the platform. So having that ability, I think, will enable us to capture a lot of market share. And we're already seeing it. We're starting to execute against these deals. We've done a lot of them in 2020. So internally, this is our solution as far as being able to still target audiences without having to share private information, without needing cookie syncing, et cetera, with the third-party platforms. Separate from that, though, we also are supporting all the major initiatives in the industry. So, as Ofer mentioned, the industry will come up with a solution. It already has started doing that. So we've seen key initiatives come out from Trade Desk, LiveRamp, et cetera. We're integrated to all of those solutions. So we have alternative ways of user syncing with platforms outside of cookies already today. and we'll keep improving on that as more solutions come out in the industry. Our goal is to support all of the major ones to give, again, buyers choice. This is our model in general. So we don't want to force people into a single type of transaction. While we think the preferred method will be that supplier laying of data, if a buyer still wishes to target their data on their demand side platform through an alternative method of syncing, we'll support that. And we already have with a couple of the major players.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. And as we are now approaching the hour mark, I think that makes a good place to stop. So, Ofer, is there any closing comments that you'd like to make?
Yeah, I think that it's the first time that we are doing this demo to you guys, and I think it's very important that we'll do that and refresh and show you what we are developing. Our company is very heavily dependent on advanced technology that we created over the last few years, and the acquisition that we made and integrated the good breed of every element into our system, the good features, the interesting features into our platforms, and we created a very powerful and robust platform. That is, part of that is managed by us, but we're also growing the part of what we call the self-serve on the DSP side, like Stephanie presented, and on the media side, like Karim presented, and we are going to basically launch this platform much more in a much heavier way and much stronger way next year. And we believe that this self-serve will grow our market share because it's like very strong platforms that connect to our main hub. And we have, of course, a lot of liquidity in the system through our advertisers and strong publisher base. So already now, about 2/3 of our revenues are pure programmatic, and 1/3 is still what we call managed and so on, which is also very important in the CTV world. It's not a disadvantage. It's important to say that it's an advantage because most of the advertisers that are dealing with CTV, they want to run on managed perspective because they want to get more filters of data, as I just mentioned, and not just one, and they want to get end-to-end with us in order to achieve their goals. So I think that the company is very rounded with its technology. We'll keep developing in our products and our marketing, and we are in a really good spot around that because this is the trend. Another element that was less discussed in that, but I think it's important to mention because you will read about it, is the SPO, it's the supply path optimization, and the fact that we have both sides is giving confidence to advertisers and publishers to work with us because they understand that there is no middleman in between our DSP and SSP. Thank you, Michael, for hosting us, and thank you, finnCap. Thank you, Stephanie and Karim, for your great presentation. And I think that we are, from my side, we ended exactly 1 hour.
Brilliant. Yeah. Thank you very much for that overview, Ofer, and thank you all for joining. And sounds like there's lots to look forward to next year, so we look forward to following it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, everyone. That will now end the webinar.